Welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Years ago, I began recording the bedtime stories I told my children every night. Now, we would like to share those stories with you. I hope you enjoy my Stories for Wonderful Children.
Once, many years ago, there was a royal castle. In the royal castle there lived a royal queen. And the royal queen had a royal daughter, who was the royal princess. One year, when the royal princess was turning 5 years old.
What was the princess's name?
The princess's name was Sequestra.
Sequestra?
Mm-hmm.
Nice name.
Thank you.
What was the queen's name?
The queen's name was Liliane.
Liliane?
Yes. So Queen Liliane was very happy that Sequestra was turning 5 years old. And so she decided to throw a royal birthday party. And she sat down and made up the guest list. And she asked Princess Sequestra what she would like for her party, who she would like to come, and what games she would like to play. And Princess Sequestra said, well, Mommy, what I really want are two things. I want chocolate cake, and I want some papaya ice cream. And
what is a papaya?
A papaya is sort of a sweet fruit, a mild sweet fruit. Does it taste maybe like a really mild cantaloupe? So, Queen Liliane said, well, chocolate cake is easy. She said, but where did you ever hear of papaya ice cream, my child? And Sequestra said, I read about it in a book in the library. And it looks so good. That's what I want for my birthday. I want papaya ice cream. And Queen Liliane was sad because she knew that no papayas grew in her kingdom. And so she went and sat on her throne and she thought. And as she was sitting there thinking, her chief maid and her chief knight at arms came. And they looked at her and they said, Queen Liliane, why are you so sad? And she said, oh, alas, my beautiful daughter Sequestra, my beautiful Sequestra, who will be turning 5 years old in 1 week. She wants for her birthday papaya ice cream, and there are no papayas in the kingdom, and I do not know how I could get her papaya ice cream. And the knight, whose name was Rupert, said, fear not, my queen, I shall go on a quest to obtain papaya for the young princess's birthday ice cream. And the chief maid said, I too, my queen, shall see what I can do to obtain papaya ice cream. Her name was Gerta. So Rupert and Gerta left the castle.
Gerta is kind of a weird name.
Well, that may be, but it was her name.
I like Gerta.
Rupert immediately mounted his war horse and charged off to the nearest port so that he could board a ship which he hoped would take him to an island where he could get papaya and bring it back. Well, Gerta had no horse, and the ocean made her sort of seasick, and so she had to think of another way. And so she went down to the market and she talked to all the merchants at the market, and the merchants at the market came from all over the world to buy and sell goods in the market of the royal city of Queen Liliane. And as she talked to them, merchant after merchant shook his head or shook her head and said, no, I'm sorry, I don't know where there are papayas. No, I don't have any papayas for sale. Until finally, she had gone through all of the merchants from foreign lands, and she went down to the farmers. She talked to the farmers, and she was almost through with all the farmers. When she came to one stall, and the farmer said, "You know, I think I saw a papaya once." He said, "The person who showed it to me said that they came from the southern isles." And Goethe said, "Well, do you have any idea how we might be able to find one?" And the farmer said, "No." And she said, "Well, when did you see a papaya?" And he said, "Well, they sold me one, and my family and I ate it, and we enjoyed it. It was very good." And Goethe said, "Well, what did you do with the seed?" And the farmer said, "I just threw it out with all my other seeds and waste." And Goethe said, "And does anything grow in your pile of waste?" And the farmer said, "Well, yes, there's a tree." And Goethe said, "Really? May I see the tree?" And the farmer said, "Certainly." And so he took Goethe home to his home. And there in the backyard there was indeed a tree, a tall tree with large sort of fruit growing on it. And Goethe got excited. She thought, maybe this is a papaya tree. And so she went back to the castle, and she went to find the Princess Sequestra. She found her in the library reading a book. It was easy to guess where to find Princess Sequestra, because she was usually in one of two places. She was usually playing out in the fountains of the castle courtyard, because she liked playing in the fountains, and because she was a princess, and so not many people dared to tell her that she should not play in the fountains. Or she was in the library reading a book, for the Princess Sequestra dearly loved to read and to look at pictures. And Goethe said, "Sequestra, your mother, the queen, tells me that you want papaya ice cream for your birthday ice cream." And Sequestra said, "Yes, I do, Goethe." And Goethe said, "Do you know what a papaya looks like?" And Sequestra said, "Let me see." And she walked down the books until she found one. She took it off a shelf. She opened it up, and there it was, the tree. And it looked just like the tree in the farmer's yard. And Goethe said, "Thank you." And Sequestra said, "Sure, bye now." And so Goethe went to the royal cook. And the royal cook went to the farmer's house, and he arranged to get papaya from the tree and to have it made into ice cream. Well, several days passed, and Goethe heard that the knight had come back and that he had brought fruit that he thought was papaya. And she went down to the kitchen, and there was Sir Rupert, the chief of the Queen's knights, and he was holding in his arms a bunch of sort of fruit that was kind of a little bit flat, and it was green and yellow and red. And Rupert said, "See, I have returned from my quest." And Goethe said, "Oh dear, Rupert, I'm afraid those aren't papaya." And he said, "Well, what are they then?" And she said, "I don't know. But I'm afraid those aren't papaya. But we did find a papaya." And Rupert said, "Well, it was a good trip anyway, and I am glad that the princess will have what she wants for her birthday." And he gave the fruit to the cook, and the cook, after they had left, sort of sniffed the fruit and cut it open and tried a little piece of it and decided that it tasted sort of good. He actually thought it tasted kind of better than the papaya. And so he planned for the princess's birthday party. Since he was making ice cream anyway, he was going to make ice cream out of them both. And so finally the day of the royal birthday party came, and tables were set up, and all of the princess's friends were invited, and all of the queen's friends, and all the servants and knights and maids of the kingdom were invited. And they all had a wonderful birthday dinner and played birthday games, and afterwards the chocolate cake was brought out, and Princess Sequestra blew out the candles, and she closed her eyes and made her wish. And her wish was, I wish for papaya ice cream. And her mother smiled at her, and she said, "Well, we can grant your wish." And the cook, he brought out the papaya ice cream, and everybody tried a little bit of it, and the queen said, "Oh, this is delicious. I'm so glad you thought of this, Sequestra." And Sequestra, she tried the papaya ice cream, and she went, "Ew, yuck." She said, "I don't like this ice cream, Mommy." And Goethe went, "Oh." And her mommy went, "Oh, you don't like the ice cream?" And Sequestra said, I'm sorry, Mommy. I thought I would, because they look so good in the book, but now that I've tried it, it's yucky. And her mommy said, oh. And the cook who had been listening said, Princess, Sir Rupert brought this other fruit back, and he showed her the fruit. And she said, and he said, I made ice cream out of it. Would you like to try it? And the princess shrugged, and she said, sure. And so he put down the dish before her, and she tried it. And she said, oh, this is the best ice cream I've ever tasted. What is it? And the cook brought out the fruit to show her, and she said, I recognize that fruit from a book. That's a mango. She said, this is mango ice cream, and this is delicious. And so everyone at the princess's party got their choice of papaya ice cream or mango ice cream. And some people liked one more, and some people liked the other more. But everyone agreed that it was the most interesting ice cream they'd ever had.
You know
and
what?
Everyone agreed. Wait, let me finish. Everyone agreed that it was the best birthday party.
You know
ever.
what?
What?
I get why she didn't like it.
Why?
It came from a waste pile.
Well, yeah, but sometimes good things grow out of waste piles.
Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's story, but questions and witty commentary were supplied by my children. The music was created by Brandon Thompson. If you enjoy the show, please tell someone about it or leave a review on your podcast provider. Our website is storiesforwonderfulchildren.com, and you can also find us on most social media. I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story.